Well, alright. Here we go. Alright, I'm Hank, and this is How to Get Happy, my recap show for the Syfy TV series Happy. Happy is a TV series produced by Brian Taylor and based on the comic book by Grant Morrison and Darick Robertson. So here we are, the second to last episode of the first season of Happy. This episode is called Destroyer of Worlds. It was directed by Brian Taylor, and it was written by Matthew White. Let's do what's the Wikipedia synopses of this episode. Let's fucking burn through this shit. Amanda questions children's entertainer Sunny Shines about the kidnapping of Haley and the other children at his Wish-tacular events, and soon realizes that Sunny, who is revealed to be Mr. Bug, is behind the kidnappings. Smoothie has the kidnapped children, packaged like dolls and loaded into a truck. After Mikey escapes from her house, Isabella discovers that Blue put the hit out on her sons and works with her spiritualist aunt to stop him. Sax, Happy, and McCarthy, tipped off by Amanda, infiltrate Shine Towers to find Haley. Smoothie subdues Sax and, revealing himself to lack genitalia, the origin of his nickname, sexually assaults Sax with a strap-on. Oh my god, that's so much fun to say. Smoothie sexually assaults Sax with a strap-on before he is shot by McCarthy. Sax catches up to the truck, finding all the children safe, except for Haley, with only very bad Santa's glove left in Haley's packaging. All right, that's the official synopses from the good people who are putting this stuff up at Wikipedia. Now let's get into the fucking meat of it. All right, so right off the bat, this episode opens with Nick crossing a huge line. He makes a bulletproof vest out of an innocent woman and child. Are they really innocent? I don't know. I mean, the wife clearly knows who her husband is, and she's fine with it, so I guess she's sort of guilty in her own ways. And the kid is clearly a sociopath, but does he deserve to die? I mean, that's pretty fucked up, man. And then he does die, and it's funny, and I laughed, and I felt bad about it. A little kid gets blown up. A little kid accidentally blows himself up. Am I a bad person for laughing? Is Nick Sax a bad person? Are the people making this show bad people? I don't know. I just know that I laughed. I laughed when the kid blew up. Take away my Boy Scout troop awards, or fucking whatever. Okay, big question that I have is Disco Mikey is alive. He's a fucking zombie or something. He's talking Latin or something. I don't know how all this shit connects. I don't know what's going on here. Like, it's, aside from Happy, this is the weirdest, most surreal, fucked up part of the show. That there's a fucking zombie kid walking around. I don't know what's going on with that. We get a nice little use of the Wilhelm scream. I don't fucking know. Anyways, I just like shit like that. We spend a bunch of time with Sunny Shine in this episode, and I'm left wondering what the fuck he is. Like, is he just some random pervert? Is he an evil bug who needs to be worshipped? There's a part he says these tickets are for when Haley decides to come home. What a horrible thing to say to a mother whose daughter was kidnapped. That's some really good writing. So, I mean, what is Sunny Shine? Is he just some rich pervert? This is a Grant Morrison adaptation, and Grant Morrison has used themes of bug people who rape children and eat their souls to help bring about an invasion from another world. That's standard shit in Grant Morrison comics. And things are getting really fucking weird. There's parts I can't even describe. There's fucking squeeze doll costumes revealing strange pulsing organic bodies inside, like flesh pods or giant smooth cocks with no detailing on them. I don't know what the fuck to make of any of that shit. And then people licking them all over. It's a very weird show. We see Happy dealing with the ramifications of murdering another imaginary friend in the previous episode, and Watching Chris Meloni or Nick Sachs cuddle this little cartoon horse, it's fucking adorable. I really enjoyed it. The show is still full of just random little throwaway racist moments. There's a part where Smoothie tells one of the children, "You receive top marks because you're Asian." And that's, what is that supposed to mean? Does it mean he works harder because he's Asian? Does it mean that he would have gotten top marks simply because he's Asian? Who knows? I love watching Nick talk to Happy when he's around other people so that we really get the experience of seeing Nick being a fucking crazy person. We also get to learn Happy's full title. His full name is Hapilicus Imaginicus, Defender of Zork, First Knight of the Cupcake Kingdom, Hero of the Frosting Wars. And then we have a little bit where Nick has to unroll the window and then roll it back up to let Happy in and out. It's fucking perfect. I giggle so much when I'm watching this show. What the fuck are these squeeze toy people? Why do they bleed purple? What the fuck is going on in this show? Okay, anyways. Remember when I said that there was sort of back in episode 1, I thought there was kind of a sexual element to how Nick and Smoothie were interacting. There was something sort of sensual about their relationship. Well, this episode really takes that to its furthest extent that it can go to. So, a word about Smoothie. Smoothie has no genitals, and he fucks by wearing a strap-on. And there's a couple of specific characters this reminds me of. One is the angels in Kevin Smith's movie Dogma. They don't have junk, and it's a whole issue for them. The other thing this really reminds me of is the character Herr Starr, who was the main villain of the comic book Preacher. I mean, aside from God, who I guess was also a primary villain of Preacher. You might also know Starr from the TV adaptation of Preacher, which I'm not a huge fan of, especially now that I've seen Happy and I know how fucking good these comic book adaptation TV shows can be. Anyways, Starr also winds up with no genitalia, and he carries around a large strap-on cock that looks very similar to the one that Smoothie wears. What's the connection between Preacher and Happy? Like, you can do it in 2 easy moves. Happy was written by Grant Morrison and drawn by Darick Robertson. The Boys was written by Garth Ennis and drawn by Darick Robertson, and Preacher was written by Garth Ennis and drawn by Steve Dillon. So there you go. There's your 6 degrees of creator separation between Happy and Preacher. I love the part where we got to see Blue being human, realizing that he hates his job and his boss. The part where he says, like, what does he say? He's an errand boy for psychopaths, something like that. It's a nice moment of realization for that character. And, okay, so how do we dig into this? In this episode, Smoothie rapes Nick Sachs and films it. And it's a joke. A man gets raped, and it's played for laughs. And I did laugh. I'm sorry, I don't feel great about that. I feel conflicted. Using sexual abuse as a punchline, showing Nick Sachs getting raped on camera, we see Nick's face as Smoothie enters him. And I don't know what to think. I don't know what to say. I feel bad for laughing at that. I feel guilty. And yet, there it is. I got no idea for how to fully respond to this. It's weirdly a flashback to Chris Meloni's past on Oz, where men got raped all the fucking time. Not that it was used as a humorous punchline on that show. I don't know if I don't know if Christopher Meloni's character ever got raped on Oz, but I know for sure at one point he kills a guy while getting a blowjob from him. So, sexual violence? Male-on-male sexual violence is a weirdly repeating motif in Christopher Meloni's career. I don't know what to make of that. This was one of the weirdest things I've seen on TV. It's on par with when Marcellus Wallace gets raped in Pulp Fiction, and again, that's played almost for laughs. Very conflicted, you know? Rape isn't funny. But this scene was funny? Like, what do you do with that, kids? Where do you go with it? We do see Smoothie get shot. He might have lost an eye, but I think we're going to see him in season 2. Oh yeah, Happy got okayed for a second season. I think I saw Patrick Fischler saying he'd be in it. So I guess that implies that Smoothie will survive. But then, if he dies, he could always get brought back like Disco Mikey, so who's to say? We don't know what the rules are in this show. I loved watching the fall of Blue. It was all very wonderful shot. Blue starts making these noises like Harvey Keitel was doing in The Bad Lieutenant, like I can't do justice to it. I love the way that it cut in between. You get to see Blue's sweater unraveling, sort of in the way that his plans and his life is unraveling, and then that's intercut with Cats playing with the ball of string that is the talisman that was meant to bring about Blue's downfall. There's some really good fucking storytelling there. Very good visual storytelling, very good thematic playing out of themes? I don't know. What the fuck am I trying to say? Anyways, that's the penultimate episode of season 1 for Happy. There's a lot of questions, a lot of fun, and a little bit of rape. I laughed. I winced. I felt bad for laughing. It's Happy. We got 1 episode left to go. And that's going to be next week, and that's going to wrap us up for season 1 of Happy. I'll try to give my next episode will probably be a big series, season 1 in review, as well as looking at the final episode. I'm really happy that I watched this show. I didn't know how good a comic book TV adaptation could be up until Happy happened. I would put it as very similar to like Scott Pilgrim for... This is it, man. Like, this is what happens when you put a truly creative filmmaker who really cares about a project and lets him fucking run wild on it. Lets them run wild. We don't need to gender this. Looks like we're not getting any female directors for the first season of Happy, which is really fucking disappointing. So it goes. What are you gonna do? You gonna change the whole world by fucking ranting and railing about stuff on your podcast? That ain't gonna happen, kids. That ain't how the world changes. Happy. Episode 7. Destroyer of Worlds. And oh yeah, we saw some worlds get destroyed. Well, we saw a large black dildo get broken off inside Nick Sax's anus. Did that destroy his world? Honestly, it just looks like it pissed him off a little bit. So, there you go. At least we know Nick Sax is a man who can take a bit of abuse, so no worries there. Anyway, I've been Hank. This has been How to Get Happy. You've been delightful, and I'll see you next week for the final episode of How to Get Happy, the review and recap show for the Syfy series Happy. This series has been a lot of fun. I'm really glad I watched it, and I'm glad you're listening to me talking about watching it. Yeah!